If you haven't heard about Anchor by Spotify, it's the easiest way to make a podcast with everything you need in one place. In fact, this season of Millennial and Pregnant was produced and hosted on Anchor. Here's what I love about it. Anchor has tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. This made it easier for me to edit my episodes on the go. When hosting on Anchor, you can distribute your podcast on listening platforms like Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and more. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. And best of all, Anchor is totally free. Download the Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started.
Hi, I'm Fatima.
I'm Brian, and you're listening to Millennial and Pregnant.
As we begin our journey through our first pregnancy, we wanted to share our experience. We pre-recorded episodes for this close-ended series. Spoiler alert, it ends with us having a baby.
And if you're looking to get pregnant, are pregnant, or just want to have a good laugh with us, then this podcast is for you.
We understand that every pregnancy is unique and has its own story. Here's ours.
So this week, I want to talk to you about some of those products you've been using early on, because I know you did a lot of research on Pinterest, which is groundbreaking, and just wanted to see what things are working for you, what things are not. But first, how are you feeling?
I am feeling fantastic. So
the glow is real.
Yes, the sweat is really real. That's what the glow is. The glow is just this little particles of sweat that just kind of goes on top of your skin.
It's a diamond in your sweat.
Yes, I think so. The heartburn is just something, and acid reflux is just something that is just escalated even more. It's just
because now your stomach is sitting next to your heart at this point.
Yeah, well, I think so. Well, because
Everything just keeps getting pushed up.
It just keeps, yeah. Obviously, it's a baby gets bigger. All your other organs are just being, pushed up,
Yeah.
and we probably are butchering the science of really what's happening.
We are not doctors.
But there is some sort of movement up, and there's not much space, or this, the space within your stomach is getting smaller. So, where's all that gas going? It's going to come right back up. Yeah. So Brian,
up or out,
it's going to come back and both ways. That's for next week. For this week, we'll talk about the burping part of it. Brian looks at me like I'm crazy. I burp like a trucker, but that's the only. It's either it's. Yeah. Okay. I burp like I really just burp a lot.
Yeah.
So he looks at me like I'm crazy, but that's the only relief that I can get. That and something cold. So I was just the other day chugging water or ice. I was literally biting on cubes of ice last night, and that was helping.
So that's where all of our ice went. I was making a margarita today, and we had no more ice.
Yeah, we were for both of us to drink.
I am drinking for 3, for 2.
Yeah. Okay.
He's probably not going to like alcohol.
We don't know that because
I know.
Just to make it clear, I have not been drinking during my pregnancy. But although I was thinking about it, and many people make jokes, but when our parents, right, they
were drinking and smoking.
Yeah, because it didn't come out until I forget what year it was. And that was before our parents were born, that this stuff was bad. And they turned out fine.
I love it. But one of the things that I guess was life-changing for you, maybe, I mean, I say life-changing because I bought it for you, the nightlight in the bathroom.
Yes.
That is something, regardless of what stage you are in pregnancy, but I think was helpful for you.
Yeah.
Since you go to the bathroom
in every notification of every, what's your weekly update and what to expect. And in the book that my sister got me on what to expect when you're expecting, every single week is frequent urination. Frequent urination continues. Even more frequent urination. You're like, what? Like,
I know. You were like every couple hours, and now you're like every half hour. So
I don't even know. I think I might have counted 7 times I got up last night to go use the restroom. So one of the things that I hated, though, I know my apartment so well, so I can make it to the, bathroom fine. But then when I got to my bathroom, there's no light coming from there's no window in there. So there's nothing even like a dim light that I can use. So Brian had the great idea of getting me a nightlight. Mm-hmm. And so it's light sensitive detected, or what is that word?
Yeah, it has a little light sensor on it, so it only
comes
glows
on when
in the
it's
dark.
When it's dark, and it uses less power and
stuff.
It's
an LED light.
It's an LED light, so it doesn't use that much.
Environmentally friendly.
It's just one of those things I had to bite the bullet and just use and have. And
so groundbreaking, because I know a ton of people who have nightlights all over their house. But who would have thought a nightlight?
But these were so it's kind of sleek
and
so
modern.
It's fine. So we don't even.
The design works well with the bathroom.
It's a square, and it illuminates so nicely.
We should be on HGTV.
So.
Designing nightlights for people's houses.
When you had said nightlight, I was thinking about those nightlights,
like those plastic Disney
with
Minion.
the covers on it, and like the cover, and it's huge and it's bulky and it sticks out so much. This was not like that, and so it was life changing. It literally was life changing for me, because I was able to make my way out the bedroom, have the nightlight, so I didn't have to turn the light, and it still kept me in that sleep mode. So now when I go back to bed, it's
not so bright either.
Exactly, because the light would make me wake up much more. Now sometimes I'm like, I don't even know how many times did I go at night? I just forget, because I'm like a zombie. I go from my bedroom to the bathroom, use the bathroom, and then I'm back to bed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And it doesn't really, it interrupts my sleep in the fact that I have to get up, but then I'm able to go back to sleep much faster, whereas before I would have to put myself back to sleep.
Yeah. And so, in your research on everything that you were looking up, like what things you should be using, and I know you were sensitive to stretch marks on your belly. So what things did you go through, did you find that you started to use?
Well, the first person I called was my mother, because, the woman has had so many kids and she doesn't have one stretch mark on her stomach. And her skin is so beautiful still, much better than my skin. So I was like, I need to talk to her and see what she used. And she's like, I remember she's like, it's Mother something. And it's a lady. She's like, I remember the bottle. It's a lady who with her stomach, and it's like an outline of her stomach and stuff. So Google, thank you so much. I Googled it, found out it was called Mother's Special Blend. Mm-hmm. Want to make sure I give the right name. And it was exactly what she described. It was a bottle of oil with a lady's outline on it with a pregnant belly. And so it's a blend of, I think, almond oil, vitamin E, coconut oil. I could be doing this. It's literally just pure oils, and that's it.
Yeah.
Comes in a pretty good size bottle, and it runs around like $10 to $13, depending on who's selling it. And they also, the company has its own website, but I went through Amazon because of my free shipping. So,
and you buy like 2 at a time.
And I buy 2 at a time, because I went through about in the early phases, because I felt like I don't need to put that much on there. I probably went through about a bottle and a half, or a bottle for a month and a half, and then I slowly moved up to a bottle for a month every month. And
it's like cocoa butter and coconut oil.
Yep. So, and it's also really great too, because what's happening with your skin is when it goes after postpartum, they said it's also really good to use that during the postpartum phase as well. So, I had Brian get me, even though I really, I don't have that much more time left, I'm getting me another bottle. So I need that for afterwards. To make sure my skin is doing what it's supposed to do. Was I going to be heartbroken if I got stretch marks? And I think Khloe Kardashian got some backlash, because she's like, oh, thank God, no stretch marks. It's like, everyone, it's okay. Someone's like, these are my badges of honor, and it's totally okay. There's nothing wrong with stretch marks. I might not have it on my belly, but I have it in other places. That was just something that I was just trying to avoid.
Right.
So this is something that I did. So this might not be important to people. And people might be like, I don't really care. And maybe, but this was something that I wanted to do. So out of all the products that they have out there, which I think the baby making and pregnancy and maternity world is probably just as saturated as like the wedding industry, where there's just so much that's out there. So this was just one of the things that I had decided I'm going to jump on the bandwagon with, and with the advice of my mother and what she used, which is kind of cool. This is something she used when I was in her belly.
Oh,
when you think about it.
Was there any other oils or lotions you were using?
Yeah, I mean,
outside of your belly.
Yeah, well, so
or just
there was also like in the like any oils that you're using, and it's gonna seal in all the moisture. So you always want to make sure that you had to put those oils on when you were warm out the shower, maybe even a little bit slightly wet still. And so in the shower, I was using also coconut oil. So I would rub that all over my body, and then rinse it off. I would rinse it off because I didn't want I didn't want to be like a grease ball, because I knew I was going to put on the other oil. And if you ever use like an in-shower body lotion or something, that's the effect of the coconut oil was giving me. And so I know one of my sisters, she's like, you have to try these out for yourself, because coconut oil, her skin doesn't react well to it. I think she might be slightly allergic. So for me, I'm fine. I can't put it in my hair because it dries out my hair. My skin, it does really great for my skin. So I would do that, and I would use like an in-shower body lotion, rinse it off, pat dry, and then use the oil that my mom had gave me and just like grease myself, oil myself up.
So you use the coconut oil as a marinade for your skin before you put the mother's blend on. Yes,
and then the mother's blend was the sauce on top, or the glaze on top.
The Alfredo sauce.
Yes.
And then outside of your belly, did you use any kind of foot creams or?
Oh yeah, so your mom actually had sent. No, your mom actually had sent me over, which was through Burt's Bees, like this amazing.
Oh, that peppermint stuff.
Yes, because and I'm like,
so
why
good.
is peppermint always used in foot lotions? Like, we're watching Mean Girls, and she goes, "Your face smells like peppermint," and you go, "Why does all the foot lotion smell like peppermint?" I think it might be just to fill in that cooling sensation.
Is it
that
anti-inflammatory?
Peppermint. Yes, it could be that as well. But the peppermint on my legs and my feet were a godsend. It was really great, because especially after a long day, when before I was working from home, and when I had to go into the office and I was on my feet and all the other good stuff, rubbing my feet and my legs down with that was huge. As well as some like shea butter. I'm a strong believer in that. That's what I grew up on, African shea butter. You can use it for just about anything, and it also helps with relaxing my muscles and stuff. So I would do a combination of the Burt's Bees and then also the shea butter, like every night, rubbing my lower legs and my feet down with that, just because the leg cramps were getting terrible and my feet was just so tired. So
yeah,
those two things really, really helped.
Yeah, I was just looking up the peppermint oil. It lends cooling, calming, and energizing properties, which is a great effect on your feet, especially when you're pregnant. So this one's a given, but the Lush Sleepy Time lotion.
Oh yeah,
when I massaged all over you.
Yeah. Yes.
In our previous episode.
Yeah. You'll hear all about it, that lotion, but the scent of it was just amazing.
Whether you are pregnant
or not,
or man or woman or anyone, this stuff is amazing.
Yeah. Anything that could relax you is just great.
And then your sister sent you a pregnancy pillow, which at first you were not into getting a pregnancy pillow. You're like, I'm not going to need this.
Well,
and then it surprised you when it came in the mail, and you're like, oh my gosh, like this is so nice. And then you tried it and you're like, wow.
In the early parts of it, before I really had a belly, I was like, okay, this is just, I had a love-hate relationship with it, and I want it to go away. It was like a third person in the bed. But then when
fourth
your belly,
person technically,
when your belly gets bigger, or when your hips start to really hurt, that thing, and your back, because your hips, your back, your front needs to be supported.
Or your whole body is shutting down.
Not shutting down, but, but changing and
loosening up.
Getting ready for the baby. That pillow, what? Every time it's when you're like, oh, well, should we go somewhere early and we'll sleep over there overnight? I'm like, no, unless I could bring my pillow with me, I'm not going, because I won't be able to sleep.
It's true.
I did go over, and I went over to my mom's house for a couple of nights. I didn't have the pillow. I don't think I had the pillow at all, but then I started to realize how much I needed something to help me sleep. And then I had told my sister how bad I was like, I'm not sleeping. And then soon I had the pillow in the mail. She had one of her friends were pregnant, and they said this was like something that was really amazing for her. So she had gotten it for me. And it's so funny because at the same time when I was thinking that and we were talking, I started looking at the pillows too, and I'm like, oh my God, do I really want to get this? Like, this is gonna, I think I try to prolong, like, am I pregnant? Like trying to keep things like as status quo as possible. And then I was like, I give in. I need to do something. So when that pillow came, it also came in a huge, obnoxious box. I'm like, what the hell did she get me? It could have been.
I know, Amazon got some crazy
This
packaging.
box was just way too big for what was actually in it. But it was huge. I'm like, what is this? But then I was able to pick it up. So I was like, it can't be anything too big. And sure enough, it was the pillow. But that thing has been amazing.
Yeah.
It helps with your back. It helps with your hips. It was a godsend.
And then we just recently got you into compression socks. Have those been helping at all?
Yeah, it has been helping. So like if
I see you not wearing them now,
I know.
but
I don't know if I should be wearing them in the house if I'm able to put my feet up, which I'm putting up now.
They're looking a little better.
They are looking a little bit better. Like my feet are like, I no longer have ankles. My ankles have disappeared, and my feet look like little mini sausages. They do.
Put your foot on top of the other one for a second. Can you do that physically? No, I mean like you put your heel on your toes. No, put your heel on your toes on the other one. Stack your feet. There you go. Now it looks like a sausage.
Yeah, it's terrible. He's the worst. So
you gotta laugh.
What was I saying? I can't remember.
What do you mean?
I can't remember.
Oh, your compression socks. You don't want to wear them inside.
Yeah. So it really helps it really does help with the circulation, and for my feet to not get, because I'll wake up with swollen feet sometimes, for not to get even more swollen at the end of the day. So, or for me to put it so that my feet doesn't start expanding outside my shoe. So I had to. So those were helpful. I also upgraded, or Brian makes fun of me. I'm like, oh, get my sneakers. He's like, these are sneakers because it's the sneakers that slip in.
It's a slip-on shoe. They're not sneakers.
They're sneakers. They're sneakers, but they have no backs to them.
Or laces.
They have no laces either.
They're not sneakers.
They're my sneakers. They're my pregnancy sneakers, slipper sneakers. And so those with the compression socks, that's been my uniform for like the last month and a half. I don't even care. When I was thinking about what I needed to wear because we had to go somewhere, and I said, can I wear these sneakers with them? And you're like, no, you cannot wear those. I was like, this is all I can fit. So I went and I bought a pair of sandals because he said I couldn't wear my sneakers and compression socks with a dress. It just wasn't appropriate. Whatever.
It wasn't. But you had your leggings too. You got, and those would have been more appropriate.
Yes, this is my uniform. My compression socks, slip-on sneakers, leggings,
it's in their pregnancy leggings, so they have the little bump pouch that goes all the way up to
a t-shirt heart. And whatever jacket can fit me at that point. But I was trying to prolong it. I was like, my legs are still the same size. I'm gonna be fine. Blah blah blah. I don't need to buy any maternity clothes. And for the most part, yes. But what I didn't realize with my belly was that that means my hips are not exactly the same either, and my belly is lower, so I needed something to go over my belly. So the two things I kind of gave into with maternity wise is my pregnancy leggings that go over your belly and my pregnancy tights that also go over your belly, because I was getting some major circulation cut off there, which it was just super uncomfortable, just the way it was hitting like a regular pair of pants would hit on your abdominal, because my stomach was there. And so those were the two things that I think, you know, if you're working in corporate America and you have to wear tights, and it was winter in the beginning part of it, and I needed those, so I invested in the tights and then leggings, because one, also I just don't want to stretch out my leggings when I go back outside of my pregnancy. But it was like, once everything was life changing once I found it. It was life changing when I found it. So comfortable. And I think even having, because it goes over your belly and it also sits higher, it gives you some support with your back as well, I think it had said. So those were the two pieces of, that's the only maternity clothes, quote unquote clothes I have.
True, because then didn't you try on a dress yesterday, and you're like, oh, I can still fit into it, but it was like 6 inches too short.
Yeah, your belly just slowly moves things. And I'm like, oh wow, this is a lot shorter.
Yeah,
I'm gonna have to shave a little bit past my knees now, because it's a lot shorter than I had remembered it to be.
Yeah.
But I tried the whole maternity dress thing, and it didn't work for me, just because I'm just, you know, more petite person. So my belly, although for me it's big, everyone's like, oh, so cute, it's so small. So when I went to try on a dress that was maternity dress, and it was just one that I tried, but I need to just try it once, and if it lets me down, I'm like, okay, I'm done. The extra fabric and the space that they made for your belly was just so huge. I was like, am I even pregnant? It was so saggy, and so I returned it right away.
So then you just buy like a couple sizes up, call it a day. One size up.
I don't even do that. Stretchy. Anything that has a stretch, that is what I get.
Yeah.
Because everywhere else is slightly bigger than it was before, but it's really not. So if I get to something that's too big, then up top it doesn't fit right.
Yeah.
So I just stick with the size that I was, and just make sure that it stretches. Yeah. So I have a lot of stretchy dresses now.
You do. Just in the rotation of everything.
Yep.
Did you have any other, I think that was, those were pretty much all of your top things that really helped you.
Yeah.
Getting early on in pregnancy, and, not really buying a whole wardrobe of maternity clothes. You kind of stuck to a certain cycle of products. Yeah,
and it just all depends on what your lifestyle is and where you are currently in your life. And that was just not something I wanted to invest in. Two, that we had the space to really get, because we live in a small apartment, and I just wanted to be as minimal as possible. And so I really waited until I probably waited way too long for my tights, because there was one point that my tights I wore on my work dresses that I was like folding it over my hips, because I was so uncomfortable cutting it off. And then we were remember I just kept shopping around for the right tights.
You couldn't find them,
and I couldn't find like good ones, and I'm like, oh my god, I just need to find. And finally when I found these, I was like, oh, this is so amazing. I'm so mad I waited so long, because it was like a good span of maybe close to a month that I needed them, and I didn't have them. So don't wait as long as me, but wait until, you get to that point where like, okay, like maybe I can't fit into this dress anymore, and I need to go shopping and find something that works for me. But excuse me.
That's okay.
That's my acid
I'll
reflux.
love you. Pat your back.
But yeah, no, these were the things that worked for me, and you can see if it worked for you, and what's your priority, what's your lifestyle, and go from there. So maybe you're someone who does want to give your money to the industry, and just be like, well, or some people are sending you stuff, try it, don't send it back.
Yeah, exactly.
If people were sending me packages, I took it. Every single package that someone sent me, I took. So I hope this helped, and I hope that
everyone's journey is going to be different.
Yeah.
No one has a cookie cutter At least, everything we keep, how many lists and listicles do we keep reading? Like, try these 10 things, try these 15 things, try these 29 things. And it's like, okay, 5 of them work. Maybe 1.
Yeah, there's too many lists. I'm just thinking about all the lists and everything that they said. Looking at the list, then be like, okay, well, this helped this person. So, okay, I'll remember that. I'll pin it or whatever. And then when I come to that point where, okay, my underwear is cutting. It's so uncomfortable. My tights are cutting. They're so uncomfortable. Or I can't really sleep and all these pillows are not working. Then go back to those and be like, okay, I've decided I'm going to get the pillow. I decided I'm going to get the tights, and then use that advice. Don't just go out, use the list, and buy everything.
Yeah.
Because maybe you're not going to face the same symptoms. Maybe you're one of those pregnant women whose hips and back never hurt, which will be crazy. But maybe lucky you. But maybe you're one of those people that just didn't work, or you have a ton of pillows and you don't mind building yourself a little fort while, in order to sleep. So just do what works for you, and then when it doesn't work anymore, then you can decide. But don't just use one of those lists and buy things. It just doesn't work. And don't go so overwhelmed by all of the lists.
Right. So with that said, we just gave you a podcast of yet another list of things.
Oh, man. Yeah, we're the worst. I know.
But in all seriousness.
Yeah. But thank you so much for listening, and we'll talk to you guys next time.
Thanks for listening to another episode of Millennial and Pregnant.
Since you made it this far, share our series with a friend.
To follow our journey in real time, head over to liliesandloafers.com.